When I was in martial arts, one of the basic principles, or one of the basic things that you heard in many different schools, many different styles, was not to focus in on becoming the black belt rank or the master rank or the teacher rank, to not be focused on that, because when you're focused on the ultimate end goal every day, it can become pretty disheartening because it takes a while to get there. It takes a while to become a black belt. It takes a while to become a full-fledged web developer. It takes a while to become a developer. So what you ought to do, and it's a great psychological tactic and something that they succinctly said in martial arts schools, is enjoy the journey, embrace the process. And so we can break that down in less esoteric ways, and we can say what you should focus in on is setting goals that are daily goals. So instead of thinking about, ooh, I want to be a full stack web developer who's a master of Python or a master of Node.js and JavaScript, what you should do is say, my goal is that every day that I put in whatever amount of time into learning something new. Half an hour, whatever you have in terms of your schedule. But that's the goal. The goal is to have your daily activity that you execute on, and it's very satisfying. Now, this guy, Scott Adams, Dilbert, he calls it a systems versus a goal. And it's very reflective of business. In business, you have a long-term goal. So I have my long-term goals right now with Studio Web, for example. But what I concentrate on is all the things that I need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to take Studio Web to that long-term goal. And there's daily activities, there's daily things you have to do, and so on. And the same thing with learning how to develop apps, whatever type of apps you're doing. There's certain things you have to learn. So for instance, if you're learning web development, so you learn HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and then from there you have all these different choices. You can go PHP, you can go JavaScript Node, you can go Python, you can go C#, ASP.NET, you can go Ruby, Ruby on Rails, yada, 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 yada. So what you have to do is you have to set a program for yourself so that daily or every other day you hit your goals of doing just a little bit. Sometimes it's an hour a day, sometimes half an hour a day, whatever it is. As opposed to always thinking about, oh boy, I got so much I got to learn, and I want to be a developer, and there's 10,000 things I got to learn. There's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself. And I used to do this back in the day when I was a teenager, young teenager, with martial arts, and there's so much to take in, it's overwhelming. Same thing with business. You have these big goals in business, of course, and if you keep concentrating on the end goal, it's going to be emotionally very draining, because every day you're not hitting your goal. Every day you're not hitting your goal. So you should make your goals the daily process that you have to execute to eventually get to that big goal. But you know what? At the end of the day, you don't know what that big goal is going to be. So you may start off learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with the idea of you're going to become a full stack web developer, and you're going to get a job doing that. But you may find yourself getting into HTML5 based mobile app development. Or you may actually develop your own app from scratch. You never know what's going to happen. So create a process, execute on that process on a regular basis. That's your goal, is executing on that process. And you let this system that you develop, the system is basically your daily goals, your weekly goals, and you let that take you to where you're going to go. Now, at the end of the day, when you're learning something new, when you're trying out different technology and you're building things, it can only lead to good. There's no waste in that. A lot of people are always worried about, oh, should I learn this language, that language? Like they're thinking it's like going down a road that's going to lead you to nowhere. That doesn't happen, because as you learn how to code, you're learning how to code. So whether you develop your chops in Python or PHP or JavaScript, these skills are very much transferable. So I wouldn't be too concerned about going down the wrong path in that regard. So at the end of the day, to summarize this video, create a system that will lead to an ultimate goal, but really forget about the ultimate goal, really. That should be an afterthought. You should work on that daily process, that weekly process that moves you forward in what you're going to do. All right, that's it for today's vlog. We'll talk soon.